Hey, what's up, guys? This is DB talking now. DB talking birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Got a few things that I want to get into. Got a lot of interesting points I want to talk about. Some intriguing things that could interest the fan base. So we're going to talk about the status of Jalen Hurts and how he's been performing over the season. Kind of get a week 1 to week 12 look at how he's doing overall. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that he is nursing an ankle injury. There is the possibility that Gardner Minshew will get the nod this week against the New York Jets. Shane Steichen came out and said kind of as much that they're getting him ready just in case he does need to go, and did kind of allude to the fact that even if Jalen is able to go, he will be pretty limited. So they'll see how they go from there. And then, guys, also Nick Sirianni, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni was asked about the status of Jordan Howard, said that he's making progress. So in my opinion, my viewpoint, I think that's good news. Getting Jordan Howard back, the type of ability that he brings to this offense with his power running, and just as a guy who can get the tough yards in between the tackles and things like that, would be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles if they were to get him back against the Jets. And then we're going to talk about a little bit more about the NFC East as a whole. Right now, guys, Washington football team stands at 5-6 after beating the Seattle Seahawks last night, which is another thing that we're going to get into. And then the Dallas Cowboys obviously have their game on Thursday against the New Orleans Saints, which is not a given for the Dallas Cowboys. It's not a given win for the Dallas Cowboys. It could prove tougher than it actually seems on paper when you're comparing two teams as far as their records are concerned. I could very well see this game coming down to the wire, kind of like the Las Vegas Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. As far as news coming out of New Orleans, it seems like they are getting Taysom Hill ready to start this game. So Taysom Hill might start this game at quarterback for the New Orleans Saints against the Dallas Cowboys, which, in my opinion, I've always liked Taysom Hill. I always thought he was a good enough passer to be able to play a little bit in this league. Also, we know very well about Taysom Hill's athleticism and what he brings to that Saints offense. So, tough guy to defend. So, if Taysom Hill is the guy who ends up getting the start against the Dallas Cowboys, I think it could pose a pretty favorable matchup for the Saints. A couple other things I want to talk about. Obviously, guys, we're all pretty frustrated with the play of Jalen Reagor after this week's game, and a lot of fans calling for Jalen Reagor's head. That we should bench him or that we should cut him. I don't think we should cut the guy, but I really am stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to benching him, because it seems like the skill set would be there. It seems like the skill set is there. He's not able to put it together on the field, and that's the issue. That's the rock and the hard place that we're stuck between. And I'm sure that the coaches are stuck between that place as well. But with that said, I want to look at wide receivers that could come in and in place of Jalen Reagor and do a good job. We're going to talk about guys that we have on our practice squad, guys that we have on the team, and a couple of surprising free agents that, after looking at it, was not aware that these wide receivers were free agents. A couple of those wide receivers are former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Justin Hardy is a free agent, and so is Marquise Lee. So, guys, I can tell you right now. That if the Philadelphia Eagles were to bring in Justin Hardy in place of Jalen Reagor, we would see an improvement in the passing game. And the reason why I say that is because he can do a hell of a lot more than what Jalen Reagor has been able to give us. Justin Hardy was a consistent wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Did a pretty good job for them. He was picked up by the Chicago Bears this past offseason, but then cut. So, but again, that's not saying much because he can still come in and do a better job than what Jalen Reagor has done in his short career so far. And also, Justin Hardy can provide a veteran leadership, type of role as well. He's a 29-year-old wide receiver. He's been in the league for 6 years. Has had some decent success. He can. He's actually about the same size as Jalen Reagor. Can get open, but he can get open and catches the ball like it's a roll of toilet paper. So, so that's one of the things I want to go. Will we see Gardner Minshew this week? That is kind of where I want to start. Yeah, guys, there's a real possibility we could see Gardner Minshew this week. There's a real possibility we could see Gardner Minshew this week against the New York Jets. The fact that they even brought up the idea, the fact that they were okay talking about it during their press conference, tells me kind of what I need to know as to where they're at, which means they're thinking about it. If Jalen Hurts cannot go, then they're gonna go to Gardner Minshew for this week against the Jets. And almost to the point, it almost seems to the point where they might even just sit Jalen, even if it's he's okay enough to go, but he's still going to be limited. That's how it sounded. If he's okay to go, but he's going to be limited in what he can do, it sounds like they might still go with Gardner Minshew in that situation. Because guys, at some point, like, we talk about this over and over again. It's at some point, we got to be able to compare these two guys, right? We got to be able to compare these two guys. We got to be able to see what they can do. But obviously that begs the question. Well, DB, what about giving Jalen the full year? Here's the thing. I mean, I think Jalen deserves the full year of evaluation. I do think that. I think he's earned that. And I also think that if he wasn't limited going into this week's game, I think he should play. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think Jalen is the starter. He should be the starter for the rest of the season. But if he's going to be limited, why not take a look at Gardner Minshew? And it's all going to be depending on what they want to do at the end of the day. But it just sounds like that's kind of what they're thinking. I want to talk about Nick Sirianni's press conference a little bit as well, and talk about his mindset. And the one thing that that keeps me liking Nick Sirianni more and more is he's getting a better feel for what it means to be a head coach and take accountability, and just he's getting better at doing press conferences, just all in all. But he really does, he did not shy away from offering criticism in this press conference that he gave yesterday. So or maybe it was today. Yeah, either yesterday or today. But he wasn't afraid to come out and say, we need to throw a better ball there. The read needs to be better. And I was listening to a lot of Philly podcasters, and they were just hating on Nick Sirianni for calling that final, for having Reagor be the main target on that final play of the game against the Giants. And in my opinion, I don't think basically my reaction was like, how are you blaming the coach for that? How are you blaming the coach for that? Jalen Hurts didn't see Devontae Smith, who was wide open. And he was only going to be a wide open for a split second because the safety was right there. But a quarterback who can usually make a strong pass in those sort of situations would have been able to release it a tad early on time and deliver that strike. So, here's the thing. This is the reason why I came to Nick Sirianni's defense in that situation, is because Devontae Smith was running a shallow cross, and usually a shallow cross is the number one read on that situation. Nick Sirianni came out and said it. Devontae Smith was the number one read in that situation, and then Dallas Goedert was the second read. And so actually Jalen Reagor was the third read in that final play. So, but here's the thing: is that they did get into a scramble drill. Jalen did have to scramble a little bit and get out of the pocket. But here's the thing: here's where I take this back to Jalen. Devontae Smith had about 3 to 4 yards of separation on the DB on that shallow cross before Jalen did his little scramble drill. And my thing is, like, we know what Devontae Smith is capable of. We know how fast he can get. I mean, if you hit him on that shallow cross, without doing your little scramble drill, right before the pocket is about to collapse, which you're supposed to do as a quarterback. You want to get the ball out. You want to get the ball out quickly. You want to get the ball out quick enough so that you can avoid a collapsing pocket. But if he did that, if he got it out on time when he was shallow crossing across the field, Jalen or Devontae Smith could have taken that up at least another 20 more yards, at least another 15, 20 more yards. So, that play comes back to Jalen Hurts. Yeah, did Jalen Hurts redeem himself by doing a little scramble drill and then waiting for Jalen Reagor to get open? Yeah, he did. And he did make a good pass to Jalen Reagor, but it could have been avoided. Here's the other thing, too. There was nobody in front of Devontae Smith. There's nobody in front of Devontae Smith to run down the sideline and possibly run out of bounds if he were to pick up another 10 to 15 more yards after that. Could have stopped the clock, got another play out, probably 2 or 3. But, it's Tuesday now, and we have to kind of move on from that. Here's the big thing for the Philadelphia Eagles. They have to move on from this game against the New York Giants that they should have won. They should have come out and won this game. But, guys, the Washington football team, they look good. Taylor Heineke looks good. Taylor Heineke looks like he could be the long-term solution for the Washington football team. So right now you have the Washington football team sitting at 5-6, and the Dallas Cowboys about to play the New Orleans Saints. Right now the Washington football team finds themselves in the position that the Philadelphia Eagles should have been in. But they're not. So, any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment box below. Yeah, guys, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Cowboys Saints game. Cowboys, obviously, as we know, have been in a rut. They're exuding inconsistency right now, and the Saints are just looking for wins. So they're going to Taysom Hill. They're going to Taysom Hill to start this week game. They're trying to put some wins together because, believe it or not, the Saints are still in it somehow. So I think that that's going to be a really good matchup come Thursday. And I think that the Saints have a strong shot at beating the Dallas Cowboys. So, but let's talk about this a little bit more too. Is Hurts the answer? Is Hurts the answer? It's a hard thing it's a hard question to answer because he hasn't turned that corner that we want him to turn. And that's another rock in a hard place that us as Eagles fans are in right now is there are a lot of quarterbacks that can pass the ball better than Jalen Hurts. There are a lot of quarterbacks that can pass the ball better than Jalen Hurts. But here's what we know. If Jalen Hurts can turn the corner as a passer, he could be great. And Does Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have the patience to wait for him to turn that corner? Not if it's going to take longer than this year. Not if it's going to take longer than this year. Do we as Eagles fans have patience for him to turn that corner? Probably not. Probably not. Not if it's going to take longer than this year. Not if it's going to take longer than this year. A lot of people are coming to the defense of quarterback Matt Corral. Thinking that he would be a good fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people are coming to the defense for Matt Corral. And guys, it's getting hard. It's getting hard not to think about these college quarterbacks. Sam Howell has rejuvenated his senior season. He started off the season with a 3 interception game. But he's back on track now. I think he's got like 27 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and over 3,000 yards. So, Sam Howell is back to his normal self. Everybody wanted to jump off of the Sam Howell train just because of that 3 interception game that he had earlier in the season, and he's back to where he was when we thought he was a good quarterback prospect. So, Desmond Ridder continues to look good. Kenny Pickett continues to look good. Carson Strong continues to look good. Matt Corral continues to look good. This is kind of what I was trying to talk about, a few weeks ago or a month ago, when I was saying there's a lot of ball left to be played for these college quarterbacks. There's a lot of opportunities between then and now, or now and the April draft, the 2022 April draft, that a lot of opportunities that these quarterbacks will have a chance to improve their draft stock, to prove people wrong, to convince a GM, to convince fans. We're not going to be the only quarterback. We're not going to be the only team possibly looking for a quarterback. We're not going to be the only team. There's other teams out there. They're going to need to make a decision on these guys. You know what I mean? Giants might be one of them. The Carolina Panthers are going to be another one. What do the Denver Broncos want to do with Teddy Bridgewater? Who knows? Right? So, and then again, the teams that have quarterbacks to expend, it's going to solve some of those issues, right? Like the 49ers have Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't think they're going to keep him after this year, because they have Trey Lance waiting in the wings, who they took at 3 overall in the 2021 draft. So they're going to pretty much have to move to Trey Lance. But, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to get traded? And where is he going to get traded? Could he be an option for the Philadelphia Eagles? Maybe. But here's my thing too: is I think if Howie Roseman wants to trade for a veteran quarterback, he wants to make sure that it's top of the line. He wants to make sure that it's a top of the line guy. I don't necessarily consider Jimmy G a top of the line guy. Could he come in and do a better job than Jalen Hurts is doing? Yeah, he could, because he's just another one of those guys who can throw the ball better than Jalen Hurts. Get the passing game going, right? You're not going to see Jimmy Garoppolo make any plays on the ground game like Jalen Hurts does. You're not going to see a lot of quarterbacks be able to do that. With the exceptions of Lamar Jackson and others, right? But he'll certainly come in and pass the ball better. Possibly get the ball moving in the passing game. Here's the thing: the Eagles can run the ball really, really effectively, thanks to that ferocious offensive line that we have. And we have a good stable of running backs: Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, Kenneth Gainwell. These are all guys that can get the job done. Every single one of them. I don't question any one of our running backs. So we know that we can have a successful ground game. But if you were able to balance it out by improving on your passing game, and this is one of the things that I was happy to hear Shane Steichen address, was he said, we have to get the passing game going, bottom line. Bottom line. You know, and it was an answer that he gave in reference to, or in response to, would the offense change that much with Gardner Minshew in there over Jalen Hurts? Shane Steichen pretty much said no, probably not that much. You know, because we still have to continue to do what we've been successful at, and that's running the football. But we do have to get the offensive line. But we do have to get the pass offense going. Bottom line. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles have to get the passing game corrected. They have to. I don't care if you throw 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times. I don't care. Me personally, you know, I'm okay with the Eagles running as much as they're running. I'm okay with us getting a win by running the football. I'm okay with us getting ugly wins. But you know, if you're only asking your quarterback to throw 15 to 25 times, I expect him to make the most of those plays in the passing game and deliver. Right? Not throw 3 interceptions before you hit that 20 attempt mark. Not throw 3 interceptions before you hit that 20 attempt mark. You can throw 4. I don't care if you have 4 pass attempts the entire game as a passer. I would hope that they would be good ones. Efficiency. You know, not turning the ball over. Converting on 3rd down. So, is Jalen Hurts the answer? Well, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think he deserves the entire year as evaluation, but he's going to need to do a lot more as a passer. He's going to need to progress as a passer. The passing game has to get corrected. The passing game has to be a lot better. It does. If they win, it's fine. You know, if you can score, if you can go 16-0 but throw 3 interceptions a game in that 16-0 season, I don't care. We just went 16-0, right? I don't care how many interceptions you throw. By the way, that would be 48 interceptions on the season. You throw 3 interceptions a game, it'd be 48 interceptions on the season. Actually, it'd be more than that now. It'd be 51. But here's the thing. I mean, we saw what happened against the Giants. The Eagles ran for over 200 yards again, threw 3 interceptions. They didn't win. And they didn't win. Neither one was effective. Why? Because he didn't get the W at the end of the day. The passing game has to be a lot better. I've said this before too. Most of these quarterbacks in the draft class coming out, they might not be as athletic as Jalen Hurts, which is debatable. It's debatable because you have Malik Harris out of Liberty. Desmond Ridder looks pretty quick. You know, but they could certainly throw the ball better. They could certainly throw the ball better than Jalen Hurts. And that's kind of what it comes down to. It comes down to that. It's not even just accuracy, guys. And that's what I think we need to look at here. It's not just him needing to throw the ball better. It's knowing when to release the ball, making your reads, going through your reads, timing, being a good drop back passer, which is another thing that I appreciate Nick Sirianni bringing up today. He came out and said, we've done some good things with the play action pass after setting it up with the run, but we've got to be a better drop back. We got to be better in our drop backs. I mean, he didn't pull any punches. And yeah, he's right. Nick Sirianni's right when he comes out and say, look, nobody wants those plays back. Nobody wants to succeed more than the player himself. And that's, of course. But we've been having these conversations. So my thing is this I think we got a little disillusioned by the recent success of this team. Since the Eagles started running it more, we started having more success, but it also gave Jalen Hurts less attempts to make any mistakes. I think he was like 11 for 18 against the Detroit Lions. I think he was 11 for 17 against the Denver Broncos. Or something along those lines. That's not what you should be doing if you're evaluating a quarterback. It's a quarterback's job to pass the ball with efficiency and success. And this quarterback can't do it. This quarterback hasn't been able to show that consistently. But, guys, I do think there is something to be said that Justin Hardy is still a free agent. Is a free agent wide receiver that's out there who has veteran experience, leadership, can catch the ball pretty darn good. Can be a versatile piece in an offense. I went back and watched some of Atlanta's highlights with Justin Hardy, and they used him on the shovel pass sometimes in the red zone. Guys, I don't see why they explore that option. Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. But I mean, I don't understand why they don't even try to explore that option. If it were me and I saw Justin Hardy, probably get him on the cheap, see what he can bring, have him come in and try out or whatever, and go from there. I honestly think, we have former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson on the practice squad. And I believe that he could bring more to this offense than Jalen Reagor has been able to bring to this offense. So, and what would we be getting from John Hightower if they elevated John Hightower? That would probably be the first guy. Just because I know that they prefer speed. They like his speed. John Hightower did get open a lot last year. He was getting open. He had no problem getting open. It was a matter of tracking the football. Who knows? But again, these are all things that they're going to have to figure out. The passing game, how to balance it with the running game, things like that. So, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, I just wanted to jump in here with you just for a little bit and kind of go over some of these things. I'll probably do another stream regarding some of these topics, and we'll continue to talk about them. But for right now, DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. One love. Go Birds, baby.